right, so for those of you who haven't tuned in yet to Tiger Queen on Discovery Plus's Shark Week, we have our two Tiger Queens here. As Kinga said yesterday, though, the Tiger Queen does refer to the Tiger Sharks, although we like to call Judy and Kinga our Tiger Queens as well. So Kinga Phillips is our board member at Shark Ally. She's been with us for over 10 years. And Judy is a part of the Turks and Caicos team, and she has been diving with these incredible sharks for 20 plus years and knows it like the back of her hand. So we thought, what better way to celebrate this special than to get you guys together? So I would love, I mean, you guys are just so funny and have such a tight-knit team, as anybody could tell from shooting this special. So I really do want it to just be you guys talking about your experiences and what you're most proud of and all of that. But just to kick it off, I mean, we were introduced to Kinga yesterday. So Judy, can you give us a little bit of your background, your childhood a little bit in Canada, and then what brought you to TCI and to dive with sharks?
I grew up in the prairies. So of course, landlocked, freshwater lakes, great Manitoba, land of 10,000 lakes, right? But cold. But as a child, you didn't know any different. So when it was summertime there, I was in the water. When it was wintertime, I went to the YMCA. I was always a water baby. Luckily for me, as I was growing up, my mother worked for an airline, so I was able to start traveling, and being a bit of a hippie, I took full advantage of my wanderlust and just got on planes and went places for 4 days. Flew to one coast to see the ocean for the first time when I was 15, and I was hooked. I was hooked just being at the ocean. But then, luckily for me, I lived and worked there until I was in my 40s, and came to Turks and Caicos on vacation and with some friends, and was introduced to snorkeling. And even though I'd been in the ocean hundreds of times, I'd never put on a mask and snorkel. And I put on a mask and snorkel here, and I was blown away by being in the ocean and seeing that crystal clear water and everything that lived in it. And the vacation wasn't enough for me, and my partner and I were offered jobs here, so we decided we'd try it for a year. So we moved here in December of 2001, and I never went back. I've been back to Canada twice, since then, maybe 3 times. But no, you can't, I don't need to go anywhere. I can stay here. And if I'm going on vacation, I want to go where there's an ocean and lots of animal activity. So I've been here for 21 years now, just playing with the marine life.
That's amazing. And so, I mean, we've heard a little bit from Kinga about the whole story of how this Shark Week special came to TCI. Do you guys want to hash through that a little bit? What was your first phone call like, Kinga, when you spoke to Judy to confirm that there were tiger sharks there?
Well, I actually didn't meet Judy until I got to TCI, because it was our production team that had heard from Judy about the tiger sharks. And she truly is the tiger queen. And she was the one that out of everyone got us there. And it was on her word and the photos that she sent us and what she had seen there that we went, okay, wow, this is actually possible. And this is really interesting. And Judy honestly knows the underwater space of Turks and Caicos like the back of her hand. We stayed after, Justin and I stayed after we finished shooting, and she took us to swim with sea turtles, and we saw upside down jellyfish, and we went out with Phil and Big Blue Collective and had so much fun in the water. And they are just people who have the best ocean ethos ever and feel so passionately about this space and these animals. And it was such a pleasure, actually, when I did get to finally meet Judy and talk to her. And she's so one of us. She is someone who was adamant about making sure that the conversation about these sharks was really positive and really happy, and that they are special and that they are amazing and that there was no drama associated with them. And so instantly I clicked with Judy and thought, okay, she's one of my people.
She's the real deal.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. My girl, Kinga.
On
And then we had so much fun.
On top of it, these aren't your typical tiger sharks of Tiger Beach in the Bahamas that are also obviously really incredible predators and animals themselves, but these are wild, wild tiger sharks that you guys have in TCI.
Absolutely.
Can you describe a little bit, Kinga and Judy, what it's like how it might be a little bit different from more of a guided dive on Tiger Beach as it is just encountering tiger sharks in the wild?
Well, I tell you, after being to Tiger Beach 3 times, it's an amazing experience. And these sharks are really conditioned, as you'll see from every Shark Week show that's ever got Tiger Beach in it. You know, those sharks are at the back of the boat the minute the boat pulls in. Here, we're Atlantic Ocean. Things are very seasonal here because of, you know, the ocean. It gets cold, we get hurricanes, we get all of those things. To see a tiger shark on a scuba dive here is probably 1 in 1,000.
Wow.
Very, very rare that somebody's going to come here and jump in the water for a 60-minute dive with a dive company and actually see a tiger shark underwater. These animals are not conditioned in any way. They're certainly elusive, and they are not going to be where there's a lot of people, a lot of noise. And most of my encounters, because I've dived here for so long, when I did go out on dive boat groups of people, I would only have one buddy and I would go in a different direction than the rest of the group. So my experiences are, because there's only 2 people in the water, we're not creating noise, we're far away from everything else. So I have been able to have those types of encounters, but I also spend more time in the water than most vacationers spend. And here, the sharks, I mean, it takes a lot to get them to come in. It wasn't an easy feat for us to bring those tiger sharks in. But we knew it was possible, but it's just a matter, of course, of timing and tides and everything else. So we know they're here. We know what their habitats are. We know the best places for the best opportunities to find them. And so that was why we would go out early in the mornings before the production team would come out and set grubs and find the sharks so that we would know they were there before everybody came out. So we keep it pretty quiet. We don't, and everybody now wants to come on these shark feeds. Well, we don't do shark feeds here. But yes, the sharks are here, and we were so grateful that, Ping Pong and Kinga and, the producers and everybody were willing to take that chance, and really happy to be able to deliver.
Yeah.
Deliver you did.
I mean, not only did you, Judy, deliver on bringing these A-list actors to set every day, but you guys also delivered on some really incredible cutting edge science thanks to Dr. Austin Gallagher and Beneath the Waves, where I understand they plan to come back to Turks and Caicos and continue the studies. Can you guys talk about how important that is to you and to show on Shark Week?
Well, for us here at Big Blue, I mean, Big Blue is the local partner with Beneath the Waves under the Department of Coastal Resources permits. So this is not something, everybody wants to come out on the boat and do this. Well, no, this is science. This is research. This is important work for science and for Turks and Caicos marine life, for people to understand that we have such a diverse set of sharks and other marine life here that we've been protecting for a long time without people knowing that we've been doing it. And the thing about being connected to somebody like Phil and Mark with Big Blue is that I've seen things that I've never told anyone about, and they've seen things they've never told anyone about. But then when Dr. Gallagher got involved, we were sharing information with him, so ended up sharing the information with each other. And even though we've known each other for 20 plus years, right, knowing that this isn't just about a dive operation, this is about the true conservation here and working with these scientists. I'm on board every day, 7 days a week, forever.
I love that.
And I mean, you guys, as mentioned many times before, deployed the first acoustic tag on a tiger shark in Turks and Caicos. What do you hope comes from that?
Science information. That is what we need. That is the foundation of conservation and of protecting these animals. It is one thing, like Judy was saying, that really the only most dedicated divers out there even knew these tiger sharks were there. But the reality is, how long can you keep that a secret? And then after that, the next step is basically to learn more about these sharks, to study these sharks, to learn their behaviors, to learn their habits, and to create a reason and a need for their protection. Because as Judy said, after the show, I'm sure Phil is already getting inundated with requests to come out and see the tiger sharks. And that's actually a good thing, because we want the government and the people and the developers and the hotel owners to know that people like sharks and they actually want to come out and they want to see these sharks. That's a really good thing, because that makes those sharks worth money. And money is basically a tool of conservation when you can prove that something is worthwhile. So now that we know those sharks are there, we have them tagged, and Beneath the Waves is going to continue their research there. All we can really do is just continue to protect these animals until we create a sanctuary for them and their migratory routes.
Yes. Well said, Kinga.
Judy, you probably, I don't know if you saw this moment happen live, and hopefully you will see it tonight on Shark Week, but there's a moment where Kinga has an encounter that made her come up with tears in her mask. She was so touched. Have you had any moments like that yourself with tiger sharks, or any diving experiences that really struck a nerve or really hit close to home for you?
Well, just jumping in the water, when Kinga and I jumped off the back of the boat together, knowing those sharks were in there, right? And seeing those sharks, of course, I just want to get in, like, get me down there. And of course, I'm in awe every time. But to know that they are there because we brought them there, I was crying in my mask. I'm a very emotional person when it comes to protecting the things that I love or the people that I love. But I've had numerous experiences here, some of which I'm not able to share with you right now because it's part of the science that we're continuing to do with Beneath the Waves. And yes, some of them are jaw-dropping, eye-opening things that, again, it's just about being in the right place at the right time and getting those experiences. But yeah, I mean, watching the production team underwater, right? Such an amazing group of people. Fo and Mark are just the best guys you could ever want down there, but Kinga and I side by side, and those sharks were, hiding and then coming out of the murk and doing all those things. It's so special to be able to share that with someone else to have that experience, because that's not a normal thing here, right? So you can have those experiences at Tiger Beach because you're all lined up in a row waiting for them to come by, but to be side by side with somebody who's on the exact same page as me, right? With our fingers dug into the sand, waiting for, there they come out of the murk, was probably one of the highlights of my tiger shark encounter moments.
Wow. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just a testament to everybody on the crew, the heart behind the story, all of it. So that's why you guys got these moments, is because you truly care and you have your eyes open to what matters. So
Exactly.
So Judy and Kinga, I think something that's really fun for conservationists and shark enthusiasts, and especially during Shark Week, to know what are your tips on diving with sharks? In other words, how do you respect their space? How do you feel safe? How do you get the best look that you can without putting yourself in danger? Do you have any methods or tips?
Judy, please, you go first.
Oh, well, for me, luckily, I don't have fear. I have respect, and I think from observing many different species of sharks and their behaviors, and being able to be in the water with all of these different species and watching their behaviors, whether it's during the mating seasons or whatever, you learn to recognize what their space really is. You can watch how they're moving, whether their jaws are ajar or whether they're, with their fins down. There's just things that you have to be aware of. But if you're just calm, you don't need to be a flapping seal. You can just calmly kneel down in the sand, and those sharks are going to investigate what you are as much as you want to know what they are. So it's about respecting their space, and eventually they become calm enough to enter yours. And that's a really special moment.
I think that's perfectly said, Judy. I think Judy really nailed the nail on the head there. And being calm and being respectful and watching for all those signs, because they can't talk, but they will tell you how they feel with their body language and their fins and the way they swim and the way they approach you. And it does take experience. It really does. Like, we always advocate that, they're beautiful animals and they're not out there to kill you, but they're also not cute and cuddly kittens. And we don't ever want anyone to get in the water and go, "Ooh, a shark, here I come." Because they are apex predators, and you should have some experience before you're in the water with them. But they are, as Dr. Austin Gallagher so beautifully said, they are the most patient predators that allow us into their space like most other apex predators never would.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oops, sorry guys. So one last fun question, and thank you so much for your time, ladies. I think this is such a fun little look behind Tiger Queen and see what a Shark Week show can really can be a bud for so many beautiful things down the road. So my last question for both of you is, if you had anywhere to dive and it could be Turks and Caicos and do this experience again, what would it be?
Well, for me, I can dive in Turks and Caicos. So for me, I just want to actually jump out of a helicopter in scuba into, I would probably like to go into the outer edges off of America, where they've discovered, I think it's about almost 200 miles off the coast of northern Costa Rica, Pacific side, where they found some form of shark nursery type thing. So I think that would be probably on my bucket list of one of the things I'd like to do next.
I think that's great. And Judy is very lucky that she does get to dive Turks and Caicos because it is one of the most beautiful diving environments I've seen with so much wildlife and megafauna and amazing reefs. It's gorgeous. So, and I actually want to go back and see Judy and see the whales. So got to go back and do that. So that's on my list. I've got to get to Cocos Island. I haven't been there
Oh,
yet in Costa Rica. That's at the top of my list. Malpelo, Colombia, I really want to do, and more diving in Indonesia. I want to do Raja Ampat, and the list is really long. Hold on a second, like the Rolodex
yeah.
comes of all the dive locations.
Well, I've been to Cocos 8 times, so I'll take you.
Okay.
Let's do it. There's lots of tigers there, I'm telling you, and they're wild and, you know, but they're swimming in the middle of the hammerhead schools. So like it's right up our alley, Kinga.
Wow.
You had me at schools of hammerheads with tiger sharks in it.
Yeah. Yes. Well, let's do something, but I wish you girls would come here, come and do the whales. And there's always shark action here, whether it's reefs or lemons or whatever. And when the whales are here, there's all sorts of things happening. You never know what you're going to see in Turks and Caicos.
Wow. Amazing. So with that, ladies, thank you so much for Tiger Queen, for injecting conservation into Shark Week, for caring, for all of it. I can't wait to see you guys later. Judy, I hope to meet you soon.
Oops. The babies are there.
Yay.
Amazing. Thanks, ladies. We'll talk soon.
Thank you both.
Bye, ladies. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Judy. Mwah.